Yeah, so Maddie, all these matches that you've been part of, what's the craziest pickleball story that you've been a part of? And you don't have to name names unless you really want to.
We're not going to name names.
Okay.
This is a good one.
Hi, welcome back to another Briones Pickleball Podcast. This is going to be a really special one. We have a special guest for you today, and she is a pickleball athlete, referee, pickleball social media strategist, and that is behind some of your favorite pickleball personalities and top pros, and that is Maddie Toren.
Hello.
Hey, Maddie.
Hey, happy to be here.
Good. I know. I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you do a lot in the pickleball space, and I think that our viewers are going to find this conversation really interesting. You're a certified referee, one of the youngest, I believe, and we can talk about that. And so you know a lot about the game, refereeing, rules, and things like that. And also, you have gotten into the social media pickleball space, and you work with a lot of top players and people that a lot of people would know of, and I think that's really interesting. Maddie actually has been on our team, running our social media for the past year, in just a little over a year. We just talked about that.
Yep.
So yeah,
The journey.
Yeah, so we're really excited to have her, and yeah, so like our Instagram and TikTok and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't do that actually. So for those of you who think I do everything, I don't. I don't have the time. So we have a great person on our team like Maddie.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So Maddie, let's just start off talking about just a quick summary maybe how you got into the game, and then we'll hop right into refereeing. And then for those of you out there, so we have little timestamps or time codes if you want to jump right into something that you think you're interested in. Go ahead and do that. And also, we're gonna be talking about some strategy maybe later on in the podcast, and also some tournament tips and things like that, because Maddie's been involved in a lot of tournaments, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, so how did you get involved in pickleball, Maddie, or when was it?
Well, when I first started pickleball, it was February of 2021. So kind of like most people, it was during COVID, looking for something to do.
Yeah.
But my family and I started playing. We have courts right near our house, so it was super easy. It's kind of like, hey, why don't we just go and try this sport that is everywhere on social media right now, just kind of buzzing.
Yeah.
So we went out, we played for fun, and then we started getting into different round robins, open play, and it's such a great community that you just want to continue to play, get out there and have fun with all these people that you meet. So
yeah,
we continued to do that, and that kind of led into playing tournaments.
Okay.
So I played my first tournament. Let's see, that was the Celebrity Tanning Open.
In Arizona?
Somewhere in Mesa, I believe.
Got
it. I played 3-0 with my mom and my dad. My mom and I believe, placed 5th, maybe 4th, 5th.
So it's a family affair.
It is. It definitely is. And my dad and I placed first. So that was pretty exciting. It was definitely a good start into a very long journey into my pickleball experiences.
Yeah. Wow. So I didn't know it was actually, we maybe never talked about this, but only 2 years ago then.
Yeah.
And then you've done all this in less than 2 years or 2 years.
Pickleball is now my life.
Yeah, that's really crazy. Okay, well, no, that's great. Refereeing. Are you the youngest certified, or were you at one time, or is there anyone younger than you?
So how it works is there are several different certifications, or how would I say this? Like different qualifications that you can become as a referee. So it starts as first a line judge. You can become a line judge, which is not used as much anymore. But you can start there, become a level 1 credentialed referee, level 2 credentialed referee, and then certified.
So certified the highest right now?
Yes, as far as being a referee goes. And then there's like different things that you can get into as like a coordinator or...
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
But so like when we talk about, let's say PPA, because that's the most like prestigious pro tour right now, like in the PPA, is everyone, all the ref matches, is that all certified refs? Or are there some non-certified refs?
There are going to be some non-certified refs. This is actually a great segment because it's good for referees, people that are either looking to become referees or are referees that are just on their journey to becoming certified. I would suggest the PPA to anyone who is a level 1 or level 2, because Don Stanley, who has been one of my mentors for a long time as a referee, he actually gives a lot of opportunities to these level 1s and level 2s on center court while playing or while refereeing pros.
Oh, wow.
And of course, they're going to get help from another certified referee, because I've had the pleasure of helping out some L1s and L2s and just kind of be a guide and help them learn more on what it is to become a referee. So even though when it comes to Championship Sunday, or maybe when you get further into the bracket, so semifinals, quarterfinals, maybe you'll only see certified referees.
Got it.
But it's no doubt in my mind, you should definitely check out the PPA for refereeing if you are an L1, L2 looking to become certified.
Cool. So refereeing, because we can go a little bit on your background and stuff, like what you did before pickleball. And what did you do mainly before pickleball? Well, you just graduated, right?
I graduated early. I was homeschooled from 10th grade to 12th grade, so my last years of high school. And that was because I wanted some flexibility in my schedule, so I was able to do more entrepreneurial side of things. So my dad, he is just a serial entrepreneur in every aspect of the meaning. He is an angel investor and helps mentor other entrepreneurs. So I was definitely very fortunate and very lucky to have someone like that by my side and help me create my first ventures, which was an eco-conscious clothing brand and an online kids yoga course where they could go and do fun yoga sequences, meditation, mindfulness. So is
that still out?
It is.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Home Warrior Kids. It's all online.
Cool.
I was able to automate that, so I don't have to do much with it now, which is awesome. It's just passive income.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's kind of my first venture, so it definitely learned a lot.
Okay, so then when you got into pickleball, you said you started playing tournaments and things like that. So why refereeing? Why did you, what was the thought process behind that? Because me knowing you, even when we got to know you in the very beginning, you've even told us that, but you know this, like you're more of a, I would say, introvert, right? You're not out there like going talking crazy or doing crazy stuff. So why refereeing?
Yeah, very much so an introvert. Pickleball has completely gotten me out of my shell. Refereeing kind of was just thrown into my lap as we were at these first tournaments that we went to, which were all based in Arizona. And I met amazing people like Leslie Shaughnessy and Bill McManus, who are top referees in the field. So I was introduced to them by a couple people that we met through these local tournaments, and they're like, yeah, you should check it out. Why not? Your dad is always playing tournaments. So that's kind of how it started. Like, why are you always coming to these tournaments and watching him?
Why you were not playing on some of them and you were just following your dad? Is that
most of the time? We would usually play mixed on Sunday, but then we'd be there maybe Thursday and Saturday for singles and men's. So it was like, why not? You should just go and make some extra money. And I was like, okay. And back then, this was let's see. I believe this was October of 2021.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. May have to fact check.
That's all right.
Can't remember.
Yeah, that's okay.
But when I started my refereeing journey, I was extremely introverted. I was definitely would not be where I am now without refereeing. I would not be able to be on this podcast and talking to you even. It was severe, but I am just extremely grateful for all of the different experiences that have come my way, and refereeing has helped me immensely.
Cool. No, that's really awesome. So you started refereeing because there was a need. So they kind of just asked you, and then you took it on.
Yeah. There is definitely a need for very solid referees, because I know that the game is evolving so quickly that we need more people that are on it. And I'm not saying that there aren't those people. There are some amazing referees.
Yeah.
But we need more of them. And that's why we need more people to come and start the refereeing process, because it is truly rewarding. It is fun and good for people that just love the sport, or you just want to make some extra money. It is fun.
Yeah. No, for sure. Referees obviously are some of the most unappreciated people of the game, but we definitely need them. Like right now, how does it work financially with a referee, or why do people ref? Is it because they love the game mainly? Because I know that's how it started. There was no money in the game like years ago, but what can you get paid as a referee, or what, if someone's taken that route?
It obviously goes by your skill level. So level 1s and level 2s are typically paid the same if you're refereeing on like one of the pro tours, but then a certified will be paid more. Right now, I believe the PPA, I don't know about MLP. I have not reffed MLP yet, but PPA is definitely the highest paid referee right now, at $17 a match.
Okay.
Plus a stipend, and sometimes they'll help you out with travel expenses. So it really depends on like how far you're coming from, driving, flying, housing, that sort of thing.
Okay. So it's not a ton yet.
It's not.
Yeah. So man, that's tough. Okay. Yeah, but definitely. I've reffed some Katrina and I have ran a tournament when we were back in California, so I've reffed some matches back in the day.
Very cool.
I definitely know how challenging it could be.
Yeah.
Just learning the whole board system was now you guys are electronic, right? I mean, are you guys on iPads now?
iPads for PPA center court, I believe.
What's one of the things that you learn most from refereeing, you think? Because you're a player, and also you're a referee, so you know a lot of the game and stuff. Like maybe one thing that you can take away, or that maybe other people who aren't referees or in that space could learn from.
I would say the first part of your question, something that I've learned and am able to always pick up on when I'm playing games, is looking for people out of position. It's kind of a bad habit.
Okay.
Or a good habit, depending on how you look at it. But I will be playing rec, I will be playing an unofficiated match, and I'll be like, you're out of position. They're like, oh yeah, I am.
Okay.
So that's kind of fun. But for someone that isn't a ref, that maybe they could learn from my experiences, I would say is to kind of just be kind and be respectful. This, I know it seems super simple, but this is definitely something that I would say is maybe overlooked sometimes. Referees have a difficult job. It's not easy being out there.
Yep.
Especially on center court. And you have many people watching, not only in person, but on the live streams. And you're having to attend to 2 or 4 people on the court, plus having a second referee. So it's
plus the crowd.
That's a lot of, that's a lot of pressure. It is. It's a lot. And I think referees are sometimes underappreciated, as you said earlier, but it's just a great reminder to no matter any walks of life, anyone, whoever they are, it's really just to be kind and respectful. Yeah. You never know what someone may be going through. You never know what maybe happened in the last match. It's grueling days out there. They're long and grueling. And just to remember to be kind, be respectful, and just enjoy the sport, because it is truly amazing how it really brings everyone together. But just enjoying it, not...
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So to all the referees out there, Don Stanley and everyone, we appreciate you.
We appreciate you, Don.
Yeah.
Even though you sometimes scare us.
And all the referees, non in the PPA, non-certified, certified. Yeah, you guys are just amazing for the sport. Just to segue into this, because I just thought of it, talking about how difficult it is being a referee and things like that. The game is evolving pretty fast, right? It's evolving really, really fast. And I think even over the past, I would say 3 to 5 years or so, even the players, there's more players coming in the game and things like that, but players' antics and the way, the sportsmanship, the gamesmanship with players firing back at each other. And there's a lot of side conversations, a lot. What do you think about that, where the game is going? Because there's 2 camps. There's 2 camps out there. There's one where people just say, oh, they love it, and this brings excitement to the sport, players getting into each other's faces and like doing all that stuff. And then there's the other one, more of like kind of like how maybe tennis is more of a we can say just more respectful, and you can get fiery and things like that, but not directly at players and stuff. What are your personal thoughts on that? And where do you think though the game is going to go?
So I definitely have my own personal experiences with this as a referee and as a player. But talking about the pro side of things, I would say it's definitely good for the sport as long as it is contained and controlled, and it isn't overboard. I have
So what's the line, I guess? So even you guys refereeing, you probably talk about it, or maybe Don Stanley. What is the line? Is there a gray area, or is there a fine line between instigating and maybe crossing it?
This is definitely where you can see the sport is evolving, and we're trying to do things about it. Yeah. Because there is definitely gray area, and a lot of calls that a referee makes are personal decisions. They're just, there isn't really a rule for it. Yeah. It's just, you're in that moment, what would you do? Just kind of having common sense. Yeah. But that's difficult because everyone has different tolerances, whether that's, cursing or whatever it may be. A referee will
have. For example, though, like cursing, is that is that in the rules technically? Like that's a warning automatically, or you're saying some referees it's okay to just, I allow cursing,
It definitely depends, because of course we can't hear everything on the court, and that's when you'll be like, oh, this person in the crowd heard it, but the referee didn't. There's a lot of things going on. Yeah. So it's hard to see everything, hear everything. So it definitely is in the rules, but it's just, how can we manage all of that? And I think that's where it comes in, where referees, we need more help essentially with doing other things, whether that's keeping score or watching line calls, so we can attend to these other needs that may happen on the court.
Yeah. No, yeah, that is a lot, I guess. Yeah. So maybe more people involved, and you have one ref watching for different things. I don't know.
Yeah, that's where, as I'm sure we all know there are certain players that are requested to have line judges. So when we have these line judges out there, it's great, except there isn't always enough room for everyone, or it's tough. Everyone is human, so we can't always see everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Sure. Or our view is blocked or whatever. So that's it's tough. It's just trying to figure out what's the best solution. Is it having cameras? But sometimes maybe a player will be blocking it, as we've seen in recent challenges.
Yeah.
So it's really a growing pain, and I think pickleball will get there and having these solutions, but it's about when and what will that be.
Well, yeah, appreciate you refereeing. That's really cool. What is we'll jump into this. How about this? Little strategy and also tournament tips. Obviously our viewers are learning about pickleball. They want to get better and things like that. You played a lot of tournaments, also you reffed a lot of tournaments. So what's maybe one tip that you can give to a player playing their first tournament, either in preparation or what to expect?
One tip I would give someone that is playing their first tournament is to, one, get there early so you can kind of get a feel for the venue. Because I remember when it was my first tournament, it can be overwhelming. Like, okay, where am I checking in? What am I doing? Where am I going? So get there early, ask as many questions as you want to the people that are checking you in. They're always very helpful. But then when it comes to having officiated matches, because sometimes the referee is doing their briefing and you can forget everything that they said because you're just trying to stay focused on the game. So I would say try to remember to always call any out balls you see out verbally. Don't just put your finger up, because the referee's main focus is to be watching for faults. So we may not always see your finger in the air. We may not always be able to overturn a line call. So just make sure that you're calling your out balls loud and clear. That's very helpful. You'll be on your referee's good side, and you always want to be there.
Okay, that's really good. Now, you did mention just a few minutes ago about you notice people out of position all the time.
Yes.
So I know it's harder to do over audio, but I would like to ask you, what are some easy ways, the easiest way that you can explain? Because a lot of people get confused on what side, who's serving, and things like that. That's probably one of the biggest questions I get. I'm probably going to do a video on this pretty soon. But for those watching and listening, what's a simple way, or a couple simple ways that you know that you're on the right side or correct side?
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I would say, I guess this depends on whether you're stacking or just playing straight up, but something that just really helps me, and it's really just not overthinking it, because it's like, okay, are we on an odd or even score? And just remembering who started the score. This is especially easy in mixed, as I'm sure a lot of people realize, because usually the female will start. But in other cases, maybe there's a left hand in the mix and then that changes. So it's really just remembering who started the serve at the beginning of the match, because it's really just not overthinking it. It really does come easy once you just start to look for it. So maybe while you're in your rec games, just continue to look for it. Just make a mental note, like, okay, this person is on this side when this is the score. It's really, I would say, just repetition and practice and just knowing what to look for. So if you know how to be in position at the start of the match, just keeping track of where you and your partner are and where you're supposed to be. And then when it comes to the other team, just remembering what the score is and then who started. It's actually pretty simple to look for. It's just remembering and knowing what to look for. So if you just practice it, it's really not too bad.
Okay. So for those of you out there, so like, let's say as a case study example, because a lot of people may still be wondering. So like if me and you were playing mixed, right? You'll start.
Yes.
You'll let's say you started serving, so it's 0-0-2, right? We start serving, we won the toss or whatever. You'll be on the even side, I'll be on the odd side, and then you'll start. So because our score is 0 at that point in time, you're on the right side of the court, even side, and I'm on the left side of the court. So when the score is even, which 0 is technically even, you'll always be on that right side. I'll always be on the left side. So if you were to score, let's say we won the point, you would go to the left. I would switch over. So because our score is now odd, because it's 1-0, 2, then your odd side technically is going to be on the left side, and mine's going to be on the right. It's a little bit it's definitely harder to follow on audio, but the one way how I explain it is I kind of call your starting position, I call it your home. So this is how I kind of explain it. So just know where your home is on the even side.
That makes it easy.
So, and then when I'm away from my home, I know it's like odd. It's like a little a little uncomfortable. So like that's how I explain it. But
there is actually a good explanation on this. If you have a USA Pickleball membership, which most people will if they're playing a tournament, if you go to the referee guidebook and the 2023 rule book, there's actually some good ways they explain it, as well as pictures that I find are very easy to follow. So if you check those out, it's actually pretty simple. It's good knowledge to know.
Okay, great. Last thing on refereeing, what are some rules that most common rules that people do not know of that happen often that you have to call people out on? Right? Because there's players playing a lot of different tournaments, and maybe we can talk about the main faults or something like that, or just what are some maybe 2 or 3 of the most common ones that people should know about?
I'd say the most common rule or fault that I call is probably the push-off fault. So this is when someone either goes for an overhead, a volley, whatever it may be, and they are making contact with usually just the kitchen line, and this is still in effect. You have to make full contact outside of the kitchen and the kitchen line in order to hit that ball. Otherwise, it's a fault.
With your foot, you mean?
With your foot,
Yeah, so like if I'm standing at the kitchen line, I see a lob go over my head. A lot of tennis players, just because like you're used to this movement, but if you push you push off with your right or left foot off the line, then kind of jump to hit the ball, then that would be technically a fault.
Yes.
Okay, so that's one. What about maybe one or 2 more?
The next one I would say is probably with amateurs. It's probably the drop serve. So the drop serve is not allowed, as I'm sure you can probably notice with pros who play on the PPA tour, and this is just a rule that the Pro Pickleball Association has, which I personally like, and we can get into all the different PPA rules that I like.
You like that at professional levels, it's that the drop serve isn't allowed?
I do.
Why?
I say that I think it kind of makes it uniform. It doesn't give anyone an upscale advantage. And
what do you feel about the whole volley serve though? It's a huge thing. You can't call not my theory, but just what I know is that you can't technically call the legality of a serve and be 100% certain when we're talking about a ball above or below the waist, which is the navel, correct?
Yes.
And then when we're talking about the highest part of the paddle over the contact. Yeah. So like what are your thoughts on that then?
This, I would say, is the most controversial part of the pickleball rules. And we'll get into who my clients are later, but I have a client who used to be known for something called the chainsaw serve. So it's
never heard of him.
Yeah. No, I bet not. Okay. Well, you're gonna have to keep listening to find out. But I think it's such a tough thing for me to say, like, what it should be. But for me personally, since I don't have a fancy serve at all, I like that it's just everyone has the same serve. Everyone has to follow the same rules. One thing that I think does need some help is definitely spin on the ball, because I know that was recently removed, but it's like what is legal, what is not legal, because people are throwing the ball up, and of course the ball is going to have some natural rotation, but how can we tell if that is natural rotation or not? And the serve is the worst thing to look for. It's terrible because it's so hard to call.
What do you think the solution is? So we've talked about this in several podcasts, but I know that for me, there's one technical solution, and I wouldn't want to see it go that way. And I'm sure you know what it is, but what do you think the solution is of having legal serves, in your opinion?
I would say if we were trying to make sure that everyone had the same, and it's just a serve, it's probably like hitting it below the hip or something like that, making sure that we're able to easily see it, because
the hip you can see easier, you're saying?
Well, yeah, okay. Because keeping it higher up, it's like, okay, well, it's quick, but if it were lower down, you can see the entire motion, and you're not going to like cock your wrist any different way than just underneath.
So I was gonna say, and I told several people this, but the drop serve is the only way to keep it legal. What if someone were to just drop it, but I don't. That's interesting. I don't like the drop serve.
I don't like the drop serve at all. Because that's also
okay.
It's something that can't really be monitored, if you ask me. It's like one of those things where, for one, it's like you can easily manipulate the ball that way, I believe.
You think so?
I think so.
Even if you drop it like this?
I mean, I guess it's just watching it very carefully. But I don't know. That's an interesting one. That's definitely a good debate. And I know that I'm an amateur player. I'm definitely not the person to ask about this.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I was just getting your feedback from a ref, but okay, good.
Yeah, definitely an interesting topic. I think it has a lot of room to grow, and it will get there.
Okay. What's one rule that you would like to see changed today, if you were just the rule maker, the legislator?
Well,
is there anything that you could think of on top of your head?
I think the rules are good for what the sport is now. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. I think all the rules together are good. I think there's definitely certain things that could be changed. It's so hard to say, since if one thing were to change, then other things would have to change.
Really?
So that's my opinion on it.
Okay, cool. All right, so that's your take on being a referee and your insight there. Thank you for that, Maddie. Again, if you want to be a ref and help the sport grow, like Maddie said, definitely, where can they go to do that?
Go to usapickleball.org, and under, I think it's something like refereeing and coaching or something like that. You'll find all the resources that you need. You just reach out to your referee coordinator in your region, and they'll get you started.
Cool. Well, yeah, if you want to be a ref, go ahead and do that. Now let's hop right into social media.
Oh, wait.
What? Go ahead.
We forgot something to talk about.
Refereeing. Okay, go ahead.
I've got a good story.
Yeah, so Maddie, all these matches that you've been part of, what's the craziest pickleball story that you've been a part of? And you don't have to name names unless you really want to.
We're not going to name names.
Okay.
This is a good one.
Yeah, all right.
I would say. At the PPA San Clemente Open last year.
Okay, so we're narrowing it down here.
Narrowing it down. This was a pro match.
Yeah.
And we were playing, it was men's singles, and I was refereeing this match, and one player.
Were you the head ref?
There was only one ref on this match.
So you?
Yes.
Okay.
Just me, a few spectators, and we were on one of the courts that you can watch from, but it's not streamed. So this was not a streamed match. To set the stage, it was kind of two players. This is in the back draw, and they, the back draw can get a little heated. People are
because they're
lost.
Fighting. Yeah, you're right.
They're fighting to stay in. They're battling it out.
Okay.
And one player just starts to go on a run because, as we all know, this game is a game of runs. So one player starts to get up, and the other player just begins, getting mad. They're throwing their paddle like on the ground to call timeouts and being very vocal, I would say. And there are some, I would say, very supportive spectators watching one particular player.
Okay. That was up?
That was up.
Uh-oh. Okay.
So it's definitely not a quiet environment as some players may be going into it thinking it's going to be, because it's a backdraw match. Who watches those? We're on one of the further courts.
Yeah.
These spectators are cheering, clapping for this one player, and the other player is calling a timeout. Goes and talks to their people because this person does have someone in their corner. Yeah. But they're being silent, of course. I mean, if you're down, you're not in the best of moods. But this person does decide to come over to me, the player, and tell me I can't believe you're not saying anything about these spectators. They're disrupting the game.
Now, what were they saying? They were just cheering? They
were just cheering.
So they weren't being excessively disruptive to you?
They were not.
Okay.
And so, as we talked about, some calls are just personal judgment. Yeah. And this is one of them, but, common sense comes into play. And this is something that I know is not hindering the game whatsoever. It's not a distraction. And they are cheering in between probably every single point. So I understand it can get frustrating, but as a pro player, you are out there representing the PPA Tour. Yeah. And it's not okay what this player did.
Okay, so he complains to you, then what?
Complains where maybe 75% of the match is over. Okay. So we continue to go and play. And nothing happens. He just continues on. I give a verbal warning, coming up to me and, excessive arguing.
Oh, he did it again or something.
Well, he's calling out throughout the entire match, getting all hot-headed about these spectators, but it's mainly all coming from not being up. So we finish the match. I get the player to look at it. We're good. And so at this point, I'm definitely the youngest ref out there. So to pick on me it's pretty interesting, if you ask me. But I'm walking off the court. It's over. We come to good terms with what I thought. It just so happens that this player decides to come and follow me while yelling and screaming at me, calling my name, saying, "I can't believe you did that, ref. It's not okay what you did." And this is a grown man talking to a young female that just did her job. Yeah. So that was quite unexpected.
So he's following you. He's
following me back to the ref
table,
tent. Okay. And so how this tournament is laid out is there are courts on the far side of the center court. Yeah. And then when you start walking towards center court, there are going to be a ton of people. Right when we get to the stairs to get to that, to many people surrounding us, he leaves. He walks the other way.
So he keeps following you and talking, and then as soon as you hit the crowd, he leaves.
He leaves. It was
all right.
It was quite the experience, to say the least.
So that was your craziest referee experience so far.
It's definitely been the craziest.
Okay.
I have a lot of good memories though, so that's not to scare referees away, but
all right, let's end this the referee segment with a good story then. Your most memorable referee moment.
Most memorable is definitely going to be a 5-0, 19 plus, 35 plus gold medal match where
That you were reffing?
that I was reffing. Only one referee. And these players are not making the best line calls. Let's just say that.
Okay.
So I am overturning a lot.
Oh my
of line
gosh!
calls.
And they're clearly because you only can overturn it when you're really
100% certain. Yeah.
Okay.
And these players are getting upset, of course. And the community is still small. Everyone kind of knows everyone. So I do know all 4 players that are on the court.
Okay.
And these players are, of course, not going to get mad at me, but they are definitely frustrated.
Yeah.
And there is quite the crowd behind me.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So they're like cheering me on rather than the players.
Oh, the crowd was.
Yeah.
Because you're overturning them.
And this is from both teams too.
Got it.
So it's
you're like overturn, overrule,
Yeah.
overrule.
It was quite the experience as well. But yeah, the crowd was very supportive. We ended on a good note.
Okay.
Wow. It was a good match too. It was just sometimes that happens. You're just in the heat of the moment. It's hard to watch the balls, and I don't discredit anything that happened in that match or if they were intentionally trying to, but that happens sometimes and it's totally fine. And that's why we have referees, and it's good that we're able to overturn some balls that we see clearly.
Cool. So. Wow. So there was a lot of crazy calls there, and you overturned them all. I like it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, probably the most work I've ever done in a match.
Oh, really? Okay. Cool. All right. So now now we can jump right into social media. So we said in the very beginning of the show, you've been with us, helping us grow on other platforms, and doing that. So how did you get into that? And then we'll talk about who you kind of work with today.
So I got into social media at 14 years old. It was my first ever job. It's actually my first and only ever job I've ever had is being a social media manager.
Okay.
I started working for a small local agency here in Arizona. I was offered the job because I had managed accounts for my dogs. Very successful accounts. They have had
your social media accounts
for my dogs. Yep.
What was it? TikTok?
Both TikTok and Instagram.
Did you make just funny videos of them, or
funny videos?
Really?
Just documenting what we did.
Wow. Okay.
Got quite a few paid partnerships and lots of gifted items. So
wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
Definitely got my start from my dog's accounts. So it's pretty funny what life will bring you from all different experiences. Interesting. So
okay, so you got into that. You got into the pickleball space.
Mm-hmm.
And you just made that correlation, like, oh, maybe I can help people out, or
actually,
or what happened?
I have actually always been confronted and asked about services. And it was never something that I was really looking into doing.
Wow. Okay.
I got my start with doing my own personal social media things. So I do all sorts of different videos for myself. And this one pro, after I was doing their clinic in Mesa, they're like, do you want to come intern for me? So that's how it all started.
Okay. And who is that?
And that is Zane Navratil.
All right, Mr. Zane.
Mr. Zane.
Never heard of him.
Zaner.
Is he like a 4'5" or what?
I think he's getting up there. I think he hangs out with the 3'5" though, so I'm not really sure.
Shout out to you, Zane. You'll get up there. Okay, so you started managing Zane's, or you started interning for him.
I started interning for him, which consisted of all sorts of things. So from my own entrepreneurial experiences, I have built a ton of WordPress sites from scratch as well as Shopify.
Yeah.
So I kind of helped him with the back end side of things of his website and administrative work for whatever they needed for their clinics.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So that's how it started.
So you're still running a lot of Zane stuff.
So since
Like
then, I have changed my position with him, my role. So I'm now just full-time social media. So I no longer help with the back end side of things, but yes, I am now full-time social media with Zane. So
cool.
Most of the things that you see on his stuff.
Yeah.
Is
all right.
me.
Cool. So shout out to Zane. Yeah, and then obviously, as we mentioned, you do a lot of our social media stuff. So who are some people that the listeners may know that also that you work with?
Another pro that you may not have heard of is Ben Johns.
Yeah, probably not. If you're listening to this, you probably haven't heard of it.
Probably not.
Okay.
So I have been managing Ben's social media. Let's see. I think it's been almost a year.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we're around 10 months.
And is it just Instagram and TikTok, or is it like what other things do you do?
Ben is definitely the pro that I work with the most because I manage all of his social medias. So anything that you see come from him, whether it's his long form YouTube videos, YouTube shorts, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, a lot of that comes from me.
No, yeah, it's really great. And then who is that? Are those the three or the two right now, the main ones?
Those are the main ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Taking on new clients as we speak. So a lot of things in the works.
Cool. No, that's really cool. Let's see. Any behind the scenes stories or experiences managing some of these top pros or working with them?
Some good stories. Yeah. Well,
sounds like you have one. Or a funny one or embarrassing one or something. Or maybe what's something you've learned? What's something you learned from these top pros?
Something I've learned from the top pros
by just spending time with them.
Yeah. Well, I learn something new from them every single day that I am with them. They're very smart, very knowledgeable guys, and I appreciate being on their teams and helping them out in any way that I can. And they definitely help me in return in all sorts of different aspects, whether that's learning the game or new connections. It's really great what they do for the sport as well as who's on their team. So something that I've learned from them is definitely how they stay focused in between matches. It's really, I don't understand how they do it still, because I have an issue with this, even being a yoga instructor, because I teach yoga and I teach mindfulness and meditation and breathing, but I still have an issue. I've never been someone who has been a part of sports, watched sports. So pickleball is definitely outside of my comfort zone, but it's not my life. So it's pretty interesting the way that they're able to stay focused in between matches, because right now, with the venues being somewhat small and we're always looking for larger venues to accommodate, these pros are having to stay near their opponents. So there is a pro tent, but they are having to stay near the next person that they're going to be going up against, which I find so interesting.
What do you think, in your point of view? Do you think that you would say a lot of these top pros while working with Zane and Ben are friends off the court, not friends off the court?
That definitely depends who you are referring to. Okay. Ben and Zane in particular are definitely cool with each other, and they're awesome. They're both awesome. But there are definitely certain relationships that you can tell are stronger than others, and certain ones that are non-existent, and no one talks to certain pros, and that's kind of life. I think that's just how it goes, and it's funny how pickleball is just always continuing to grow, and you have to be around these people all the time because the top pros are staying on the top for now. But the way that they're able to be cordial and just be positive in this situation that they're in between matches. It is pretty amazing.
No, that's really good. That's really cool. Let's see. I had a question here. We've seen this sport evolve, and actually, you said you started during COVID. I didn't know you started kind of just recently, but it has exploded.
Mm-hmm.
Partly because of, well, really, we could kind of put it really underneath social media, right? Social media has exploded the sport, whether it's like TV or celebrities getting into it, making videos about it and things like that.
For sure.
What role do you believe social media plays in growing or to continue growing the sport? And how do you see that kind of aspect evolving in the next 5-10 years or so? What do you think?
I see social media playing a major role in the growth of the sport, mainly because we are starting to see so many younger people play it.
Yeah.
That I think social media brings the younger audience, which is amazing, which is great. So I think right now it's good to have some exposure from celebrities and the pros making an effort to continue to evolve the sport by sharing content, which is huge not only for growing the sport, but also the pros in general, since we're trying to always bring more money into the sport, which in order to get good sponsorships, you need to have these assets. I think social media plays a major role in the growth of the sport, not only to bring more people in playing, but also sponsorships and different opportunities for the sport to grow.
No, that's really great. Let's see here. So, social media, what do you like doing better? Do you like doing the social media side of pickleball, or do you like reffing? Or are they two totally different things to you? Like, what do you find more fulfillment out of?
That's tough because they are very different.
Yeah.
I would say I'm unfortunately not able to ref as much because I've made these relationships and because I am also part of Team Selkirk with you. So I'm unable to referee anyone that I may have bias to or a relationship to.
Okay.
I'm unfortunately unable to ref as much, but going back to when I was able to ref versus where I am now, it's tough to compare because I learned so many different things. That's how I got into the position I'm in now. So it's two very fulfilling roles that I am just so grateful and honored that I get to be a part of, that I can't compare the two because they're truly awesome opportunities I've been a part of.
No, that's really great. Yeah. So going forward, Maddie, you've done a lot of things. I mean, I think it's pretty remarkable in a couple of years what you've been able to do. Like, looking forward to what are your goals and aspirations, or where do you see yourself going kind of with the sport as it evolves?
Well, that's kind of the mindset and different ideas that I'm getting into currently right now as I start to delegate work and get some help in different aspects of my job with getting a video editor and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get more time on my hands. So bringing on new clients is definitely an option. And I think right now that's flowing and it's great. I love all the people I work with.
Yeah.
When I started playing this sport and I became more involved, becoming a pro was definitely an idea. And it's something that I've kind of wrestled with, the idea of. It's just very interesting because I've never been a part of sports ever before pickleball. It's like, do I have that athletic ability or do I have the drive to do it? But it's definitely something that I've been thinking about and I'm hoping to get closer to. And there is a quote that I'm trying to remember. It's something like, if you want it more than you fear it, even if it's just 1%, then you should go for it. And I think that's kind of where I'm at, is I may have a bit of fear behind the idea of becoming a pro because it's not something that I'm accustomed to at all. But if I want it just 1% more than I fear it, then it's something that I should go for. And I think that's kind of where I'm at. I think pickleball has really gotten me out of my comfort zone, and continuing to do that has definitely helped me evolve as a human being and my overall ability to do different things. So
no, that's great. Yeah, no, that's really awesome. Now, not to bring it back to me or anything, but what are some or maybe in a sense, but
maybe
what are some things that you've I don't know, maybe you've learned from us or enjoyed working with us, either on the court or off the court? Because we've done a lot of lessons together, and we've worked on your game together. So I don't know, anything that you can say.
Well, you have just been an enormous help in my game and my different abilities, whether it's my drive that we're still continuing to work on, or my dinking cross court. But there's so many different aspects of my game that have definitely gotten so much better because of you, and I appreciate you for that.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Oh yeah. 100%. I'm so glad to be part of Team Briones, and it's truly been a gift to work with you and Katrina and just be part of a team that is supportive and has not only helped me with my game, but definitely with my experiences in the social media world as well.
Yeah, no, we really appreciate you, Maddie. Last question here, because we probably got to hop on the court soon.
Yep.
But who's your favorite client?
My favorite client?
Zane, Ben, or Briones Pickleball? Come on, you can tell the truth here.
Well, whose podcast am I on right now?
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, I definitely have different aspects of each.
Okay. All right. I thought you were answering us, and then now you're changing it.
Well,
no, I'm just
I definitely have lots of love for Briones Pickleball because you guys were one of my first clients. So
okay.
But I love all my clients for different reasons, and so
that's great.
You guys are all amazing, and I appreciate you guys for taking a chance on me.
Yeah, no, Maddie, we really appreciate it again. We would like you to schedule Zane and Ben to come in the studio and do a podcast.
Sure.
So we'll talk about that later. But any last thoughts? Anything you want to tell the viewers about either I don't know, maybe refereeing rules or social media, following your passions and dreams? I don't know. Any last thoughts here?
Well, there's quite a bit of court that we covered here today in so many aspects, but kind of just going off of each of them with refereeing, if that's something that you want to do, just ask a referee. Ask them to be your mentor. Ask them for help. Ask them any questions you may have, because they are all just so supportive and want more referees.
Yeah.
So if you just ask them, they are more than happy to help. So that's a great starting point. And for social media, don't be afraid to post anything. Just continue to consistently post. That's my main social media tip, is post consistently. This is how you're going to get the most reach and the most engagement. So don't be afraid to put something out there. Just do you and just let it be and see what may come of it.
Yeah.
And good. Always push yourself outside of your comfort zone, because you never know where that might take you.
Okay. Yeah, look at Maddie. She never used to talk to anyone, and now
that's right.
Now she's on an actual podcast, which is going to be viewed by a lot of people.
Oh, so, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks again, Maddie. We appreciate you being on the team, what you do for the game, and on the referee side, growing the game in general. I just think it's cool that working with these pros and working with us, you're actually, you're helping and growing the game just in general, So I think that's really cool, something to be proud of and stuff like that. So maybe we'll have you on again in the future. If you want to reach out to Maddie, we'll leave her contact information in the description and things like that. What is the main main resource or how people can reach you?
You can find me at Maddie Toren, so MaddieToren.
Okay. All right. So find her there. Thanks so much for watching again. We hope you found this conversation really interesting and good, and you learned some stuff that you didn't know before. So again, thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next episode.